Okay, show me the EV screen so I can see what my range is. If you've got the dexterity to do that while I'm driving. Hey, look, very good. And what's our range?
62% to 23 Ks.
Okay, should be enough.
Yeah.
Now once again, the steering assist's come on again. It's taken control and then it's immediately complained that it didn't stay in the lane. Well, you're driving, buddy. Don't complain to me. Disengage grumpy old man mode.
Yes, please.
This same button that uses the lane keeping assist has multiple functions. So you've got to have a long push to turn one off, then a short push to turn another one off. And it's just a little bit
fiddly. Just a bit fiddly.
Just give me an old-fashioned analog car with knobs and dials and switches that go click. The truth is, viewers, I'm a bit pissed off today because Shannon's did have their auction last night. If you saw all the cars I was reviewing, the Borgwood that was meant to go for 25 to 35 grand went for 75 grand.
And whose fault is that, Stu?
It's my fault for making a video about it to promote it. Yeah. So maybe I'm not in the right frame of mind to be reviewing anything today. But nonetheless, here we are, Helen and I. Feel like a bacon and egg roll? No.
No, pork and fennel sausage roll.
Let's see if they've got any.
And just a little bit of sauce.
I'd just see cars like this being replaced. I mean, this is your classic Aussie car. Good, honest farm vehicle. And it's really hard to see an EV replacing that anytime soon. That'll be around for a while, as long as you can still get diesel. However, for the modern nuclear family, that's what they used to say in the 70s, didn't they? The nuclear family.
Yes.
It's a pleasant little car.
Yeah.
Except, really, I don't know. Looks pretty sexy in the mineral blue. Not sure about all the black plastic stuff. But if you're the kind of person who sets the alarm clock to get up early on a Sunday morning to go for a spirited drive on some twisty roads, you're probably not going to choose a small front-wheel drive electric SUV. But if you did have to, this would be a pretty good one. It's actually a much better car than I thought. I hope you're going to enjoy it today. On the twisties, it's not a Porsche, it's not a Tesla Model 3 Performance, it's not an Ioniq 6, but it's still pretty good. Away we go. You know, when I first suggested to Mark we should review this car, he was agreeable. And then after further discussion, he made himself unavailable when he found out it was just a small front-wheel drive electric SUV. He calls these cars consumer white goods. That's pretty unkind, I think. But it's much better than that. It's actually a really good car, and you're going to like it. And I bet he wishes that he was here with me. Not. What do you think?
Yeah, it's comfortable.
But is it sporty? Isn't it? You're not feeling sick?
I'm not feeling sick.
My driving often makes you feel sick, but not today. Yeah, it just pushes to mild understeer. You can hear it, even though they're very, very good tyres to drive in a sporty manner. What do you think?
I'm doing my best to look relaxed.
A little bit of stability control cutting in there, tight hairpin. I think I might need a little bit of brake now.
And this concrete wall.
So the iPedal can do a lot for you. A little bit of traction issue at the right front there, pulling out of that corner, scrabbling for grip a little bit. iPedal up. It was just sort of instinctive to do it like you were changing up a gear. It's not rolling too much either, is it? It stays flat. I think Mark actually might quite enjoy this. How's our plough? Long radius corner. Yeah, a little bit of push there at the end. In we go. Punch out. Wheel spin.
Better than you thought.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think? It wasn't stressful, was it? Say no?
No. No.
No.
No.
Righto, back to Captain Sensible mode again. 80k limit.
I'm a fan of Captain Sensible.
Are you?
I'm not gripping the door.
Squeezing the colour out of the leather. Now, before we even get started with all the good things, I'll give you what I see as the two bad bits of news. Then you can decide whether you want to keep watching. Styling, if styling's the right word. In the super crowded small SUV market, manufacturers try to make themselves distinctive with some creases, blingy bits and distinctive brand cues, like all these little blacked out bits. But maybe that's irrelevant to you, and you're one of those buyers who's driven by features, safety, convenience and price. A sensible person, and you don't really care what it looks like. But I'm not a sensible person, and even in a family bus, I care about the looks, and no matter how much I squint, I don't think so. Which leads me to the second big issue, pricing. How much would you expect to pay for this? The thing is, it's expensive. It's $75,000 on the road. Now, if you look at the market, the price of these kind of small, popular SUVs are really coming down to the point where they're matching petrol equivalents. Look at the MG ZS EV, the Atto 3, the new Atto Dolphin that's just come out, the MG4, $38,990 plus on-roads versus 75 grand. They're in a different market. This is going to have to be a significantly better car to compete with them. And of course it will be, as you'd expect from Kia, which now regards itself as a premium quality brand compared to some of those others. Now we will be reviewing the MG4 next month, but in the meantime, now that I've whinged about the NIRO's negatives, let's go straight to what is the best feature of this little SUV. It's actually a far sportier car than you'd imagine. What are the best features of this car? The iPedal. Using these little paddle shifters on the wheel to adjust how much regenerative braking you've got is good. Very nice feeling two-spoke steering wheel, really like it. Seat's great, 8-way adjustable and lumbar support up and down, and you could not ask for more in the seat. It's actually really good. It's not a firm enveloping bucket, but you wouldn't expect that on a family SUV. A couple of wriggle strips. Yep, it's actually firm. We're in sport mode. Now, as I said in the intro, it's not the kind of car you're just going to leap in and choose to go and do this kind of lovely sweeping constant radius bend on a Sunday morning, but it's actually really good. It stays really flat, low centre of gravity, low polar moment of inertia. There's no big fuel tank out the back and no big motor out the front that you're trying to swing around the centre of the car. It just does a really nice job. That's actually very satisfying. So here's a 45k corner. Yeah, very good grip. Change direction, yeah, really good. Awesome. The acceleration is nothing blinding. We're just flowing along here. We're not even getting on the gas much. I'm loving the iPedal because I'm using that to brake. I'm not even touching the brake pedal for these corners. You give it a squirt, lift off, use maximum iPedal there, and it brakes quite nicely. It's actually quite chuckable. Give it a squirt. This one will need to brake for. Brake, and they're big brakes too. Over 300mm at the front, 284mm at the back, ventilated discs, great. McPherson strut suspension. I don't know what they've done with suspension tuning, but it's fantastic. Bump suppression's really good. For a family small SUV, it's excellent. So we come in here a little bit quicker than we should. That is phenomenal. As it was just pushing evenly front and back. Give it some squirt up the hill. A little bit of traction controls there. Guess what? You would actually get this out of the garage on a Sunday morning. Definitely sport mode. We go back to normal mode. And yeah, suddenly it feels, I won't say soggy, because it's still by the standards of old cars, not soggy at all. But it's, oh yeah, it's not, yeah, that's not turning in anything like as nicely. Definitely sport mode all the time. Electric steering is really smart. You know, I could really live with this car. I really could. $75,000 though. That's hard to justify. Try this in your typical Aussie dual cab Ford Ranger, Mitsubishi Triton, Holden Colorado, Hilux, all of which are made in Bangkok, I might tell you. Soon to be in China, some of them. So don't go on to me about, oh, I don't want to buy a Chinese-made car. Well, guess what? This isn't a Chinese-made car. This is a Korean car. So there. Anyway, next time you go on about Chinese goods, all your household appliances, the clothes you wear, your iPhone, your PC, the washing machine, the TV, and 80% of everything you can buy in Bunnings these days. So don't get precious about, I'm not buying Chinese goods. Anyway, this is a Korean car, and it's excellent. Oh, Ferrari F12 Berlinetta. Let's go. Now, I promise I didn't go hell for leather to catch him. Cross my heart. On this very well-known stretch of road, you just don't do that. He must have slowed down. I'm sorry I spoiled the Ferrari's fun, because he saw me pull out and he would have thought that I was law enforcement, because he went the other way, turned at the bottom, obviously wanted a nice clean run-up. And I spoiled it. But as you'd gather by now, I was very impressed by the poise and grip of this little SUV, especially when you're not chasing down a Ferrari. The electronics in these cars in the Hyundai and Kia range, amazing. The lane follow assist, lane keep assist, does a good job. Adaptive cruise control, maintaining the gap to the car in front, which I've set to a reasonably close gap. See, it's taking that corner very nicely, positioning the car very well in the lane. Now the guy in front's moving out, it should actually speed up a bit. Just let it know that I'm still here. Seating position, ergonomics, actually fantastic. I think it's actually better than the Ioniq 6. I found a position I really like. 90-degree bend in the arms, comfortable, 8-way adjustable driver's seat, 8-way adjustable passenger seat, and my favourite, heat cooling, 3 levels of cooling and 3 levels of heating. Love that. Only in the GT line do you get the cooling as well. Of course, all the camera functions, as you can see. I like using that as a smart rear vision mirror when I'm driving it. Okay, car, you drive. Push that once, hold it in again. There we go. I'll just get in the back and make a coffee. You still must be constantly paying attention, but it's actually just helpful to let it do a little bit of the work for you. You can devote your attention to other things. What you don't want to devote your attention to is fiddling with this screen, and it's hard to reach, and I don't like the fact that this panel down here has dual purpose functions. You know, when Tesla brought out the Model 3 with its single screen interface, no buttons at all, and they're going out of their way to make it no buttons. A lot of other manufacturers must have looked at them and said, is that a good idea? And thankfully they said, no, that's a terrible idea. Your muscle memory likes to know where things are. I like to know that that's a volume control. And unfortunately, in this car, they've adopted some but not all. They've said, no, it's good to have things where you know where they are. Like all these buttons on the wheel are quite good. You get used to volume, tuning, your screen display functions, and all your driving aids, like your cruise control and setting the gap and all that kind of stuff. So that's all great, and you soon adapt to those. But what you'd miss out on is over here, all this stuff is virtually unusable while you're driving. It just takes way too much attention. At the moment it's doing my heating, so if I can actually bother to see those tiny little icons, I can change that. You don't get any feedback from the buttons, and they move around. Of course, if I change to navigation mode, now I've got a completely different set of functions down here. So your muscle memory isn't used. You go, I'll just turn the heating up. Oh, it's not there. First I've got to go to that, and then I've got to do this. Or I can ask Shirley to do it, like this. Turn the heating up.
No address set for office. Do you want to set the office address now?
No. Open the windows.
This feature is not supported.
But at least she understood what I said. Turn the heating up.
Sorry, please repeat your last command.
Turn the heater on.
Sorry, please repeat your last command clearly and slowly.
Set temperature hot.
I still can't understand you. If you want to try again.
Turn temperature up.
Adjusting the climate controls and heating settings.
We got there finally. But what it's done is turned the steering wheel heater on, which I don't actually want, and it's turned on maximum seat heating, which I don't want either. Set temperature to 22 degrees.
Sorry, please repeat your last command.
Set temperature 22.
I still can't understand you. If you want to try again, please make sure your window is closed to minimize cabin noise, then press the speak button.
I think you know my windows are closed. Turn radio on. Now the stereo in this, despite being the upmarket one, is not anything special, I have to say. It doesn't thrill me. what does thrill me though is all the safety functions you get with this car. It's fantastic. Cameras everywhere, pedestrian alert, autonomous emergency braking for cyclists, pedestrians, buses, zebras, zebra crossings. It's got everything that the Hyundai and Kia group can fling at it. Even the base model, the S1, has got virtually everything.
In 700 meters, speed camera ahead, 100 kilometers per hour speed limit.
That's helpful. I like that. Lane keep assist off. Lane follow assist off. If you get one of these cars, spend a day, a week learning everything and set it all up the way you like it. Save it in your driver profile. But I suppose you'd like to know the specs of this car.
Yes.
Well, you can see all the other car reviews for that because they do a really good job. But I'll tell you anyway, it feels like a lot more than 150 kilowatts, but that's what they quote. But the thing, as you know, with the torque on these things, it's instant. In sport mode, as we are, it just punches. It's got enough. Okay, it's not an all-wheel drive car, and you can feel a little bit of torque steer on a bend, for example. You can feel the front trying to drag it to the outside of the corner there. It's still really good. Power's fine. The big brakes, ventral discs, they actually work. If you really stop it, yep, it works fine. But you normally don't have to do that. With the maximum I pedal on, that's the braking with just no brake pedal at all. So it's very good. Ride is definitely a feature. Despite being a little noisy, the bump suppression is great. There are lots of bumps on the approaches to these corners, like the dips there. Squeeze it on again. It's funny how quickly you get used to the whole idea of only needing the brake pedal when you really need to. You can flow along so nicely without ever using it. Turn it in, feed it on. Look at that, no roll. You can feel the movement there. This is a lovely corner. This very slow corner, smooth though, and you'll hear it as we come onto the bridge. A little bit of tyre scrub there, but amazing. I knew you'd be impressed. Honestly, you would not expect a family small SUV. I mean, what's the market for this car? It's got to be young families with a couple of kids, but not big kids, because there's not much under thigh support. So you need people with short legs. If you're chauffeuring Danny DeVito or Britney Spears around, perfect. But big kids or adults, probably not. Okay, so what do you get on the N-Line versus the standard S-Pack? Sunroof. You get 8-way adjustable power passenger seat instead of the 6-way, big deal. An upgraded stereo that I actually didn't find to be very impressive, actually, not its strongest feature. You get the cooled seats, which I really like, and you get a powered tailgate, you get a head-up display, and you get all the black bling bits on the outside to tell your neighbours that you've got the premium model. Not a fan, really. Tyre pressures are good, 45 front, 43, 44 rear. I think I've warmed them up a little bit. I don't know if you can notice this, but having warmed up the tyres now on those twisty bits heading home, they're actually much quieter. And I just don't get that. That really surprises me. The standard fitment tyres on this car are the Continental Eco Contact 6. Now in this review you'll see I'm quite impressed with the dry weather grip, the ride and the road feel of these tyres. However, I did not drive this car in the wet at all, and various reviews of this tyre, and particularly its predecessor, the Eco Contact 5, are less than glowing of its resistance to aquaplaning. A lot of people seem to think they're pretty sketchy in the wet. Now, wet grip is very important in a family van, and I can't tell you anything about that, so I urge caution. Also, as you'll see in the video, on a smooth surface they're quiet enough, but my impression was these tyres are quite noisy on anything less than a perfect road surface. Noticeably noisier than the Ioniq 6 we were in last week. Very susceptible to changes in road surface, as you can hear. Smooth, noisy. That was noisy, wasn't it? I told you. But it's still a remarkably good car. Good ride, comfort. You could easily take this on a 1,000-kilometre road trip, no problem at all. Except you're going to have to stop along the way and charge it, aren't you? So you've got to plan that a little bit. Takes about an hour and 5 minutes to charge at a 50 kilowatt charger from 10 to 80%, or the best it'll charge is about 43 minutes at a hypercharger. It'll only charge at a rate of about 70 kilowatts. So any 100 kilowatt charger is probably as good as you'll get. 350 kilowatt charger won't do much better. Now we've just head off, so once again I've got to turn off all the smart steering stuff every time I get in it. So about a year ago I took a Kona EV on a road trip, if you remember. If you haven't seen that review, hilariously funny in places. That car was very, very good, but it does not handle as well as this one does. So go Kia. Love your work, buddy.
Sorry, I did not understand you.
No,
Please,
that's okay.
Sorry, I still did not understand you.
Okay, cancel.
Please,
Go away. Stop now.
I still can't understand you.
Cancel.
If you want to try again, please make sure your window is closed to minimize cabin noise, then press the speak button.
But you know that my cabin window is closed, don't you? You know that because you're you. Performance tests? We don't need to do performance tests. You just accept that it's 0 to 100's around 7.5 seconds, something like that. But more importantly, if you stand on it, boom, you're just gone. So you don't need to worry about how fast it is. It's fast enough. Range, they quote about 450 kilometres WLTP. Realistically, maybe 400, depends how you drive it. 80 k's here, so speed limit 80 k, set cruise, done, feet off the pedals, turn my lane keep assist and everything on. I can see there's a speed camera up there. Am I worried? No, I'll just go down 1k an hour just to be sure. In a minute she's going to say put my hands on the wheel. We've got a 60 zone here, so what we do is hold that down and it'll go 70, 60. That's a nice feature. If you hold it down, it goes down in increments of 10. If you just touch it, it goes down in increments of 1. Very nice feature. It still hasn't told me to put my hands on the wheel, but I expect it will. Now it's telling me. Full eye pedal, and see what it does. See if it comes to a stop by itself, we'll see. Oh, look at this. No brakes, and it eases just down to a, will it stop? Don't hit the car. That is perfect. And if I just sit here and wait, and the lights go green and I do nothing, and I fall asleep, green, and it tells me time to go. I think Mark would say sometimes too much tech is too much tech, but yeah, this is tech that really works. And look, it's got real glass mirrors on it. Love that. Check out the Ioniq 6 review we did last week where it had camera mirrors, and check out the issues I had with that. Oh, it's got a little shimmy up now. You feel that? Just did a little bit of today's economy. Here you go. Here's the bad news. How many electrons did we eat? They quote around 16.5 kilowatt hours per 100k, which is very good. In the last 108 kilometres of driving, that's our little blast today, including all that twisty stuff, 17.5 kilowatt hours per 100k is exceptional. A lot of the other performance EVs we've been in have been getting 21, 22 for that kind of driving. Clearly the motor in this is exceptionally good. So there you go, folks. That is the Kia NIRO EV. 75 grand though, so equivalent vehicles. BYD Atto 3 extended range in blue, a full $23,000 cheaper than this car. MG ZS EV extended range, long range, also in lovely shade of blue. Whoa, price increase since this video was shot, but still $17,000 cheaper than the Kia. New MG4 sedan, rear-wheel drive, long range electric vehicle, still going to get it cheaper than 50 grand. Compare those with a $75,000 car. What are you getting for the extra 25 grand? You're getting a really premium product, that's what you're getting. Are you prepared to pay for it? There are other cars I would prefer more. I would prefer dual motor or rear-wheel drive and a bit more grunt, but in terms of handling and ride, bump suppression and ultimate corner grip, it's actually really, really good. Thanks for watching. See you next time for something with petrol in it. Oh hey, you made it right through to the end of the video. Congratulations. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please share it with your motoring friends. And above all, click the little subscribe thing down here so you can see the latest videos when we bring them out, hopefully each week. I look forward to seeing you soon.